I'm going right now, so let it kick on.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Factual Fridays. So we didn't have something straight up set up for tonight, so we were gonna do a Nicholas Bowling's hour-long live thing. Not live, but
Then I remembered a hot topic.
Yeah, then we remembered a hot topic.
Oh,
So we're going to be covering the OnlyFans model.
Her name was Phillips.
Yes, and about her sleeping with 100 men in one day. I've got 3 different people that we're going to be going over. It's going to be Mike the Deacon, right?
A joyful exile.
Joyful Exile.
He is a deacon.
Yeah. And then we've got Matt Walsh. And then we've got Simp Saber Sam.
It's like 3 different people with 3 different perspectives. There's a spiritual perspective. There's a conservative perspective.
Yes.
And I'm not sure about Simp Saber Sam, but he's just.
This is just just a joyful.
Yeah, mostly just like just like the average guy's perspective, I guess.
Yes.
Look at the lights in the yard.
She must be going in your yard.
She has to be, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't see her by the gate, but I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
There's weird things going on, man.
There's been a lot of weird, especially with the whole UFO thing.
Yeah, we're starting to see drones here now. Not necessarily directly here, but more toward like the city of Bakersfield, over in the horizon skies, not overhead or anything.
Yes.
So there was somebody who talked about an explosion happening.
No.
Yeah, a guy that gave me a ride, he said that just before he got me and before he got to the lake, in our area he saw an explosion. He actually saw the scrap metal like going off to the side. But there was nothing reported on it, but we saw some weird cloud formations that evening, like it would have been something like that. So it was rather interesting there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was her.
Yeah, it has to be her. Or somebody of her, like maybe her daughter or something.
Damn it.
Okay, so like
It was gaming, so.
Yep.
So everyone has been talking.
And this kind of covers the Diddy stories
I
too.
guess since we kind of brought it up, we started talking about that.
So this should be a good one. We'll just kind of go over it and we'll see what points there are to be brought up.
Talking about P. Diddy recently, and for good reason. Diddy has committed some of the most unbelievably evil acts imaginable.
And so she's in the hall and she's waiting for the elevator, and you can see Diddy walk up to her, and suddenly. Now, I can't show you this part because it is really, really violent, but I'll explain it to you. Diddy grabs her by the neck and he throws her to the ground and he kicks the out of her until she's unconscious and no longer moving. Like, it is brutal. There is no defending it.
But personally, I think there is something happening every single day that's arguably even more evil than the entire Diddy situation. I want to show you some video clips to try to prove my point, and then I'd love to hear what you think about all of this.
So I guess he's talking about because Diddy's like really prolific and everything, but
Yeah.
it's still just like a really small subsection of like elite people
It
that
is.
have been like targeted. Whereas this girl is pretty much just like hitting like the mainstream. She's in everybody's phone. She's on everybody. It's
Boyfriends, husbands.
and she does seem to be like she's really young looking, and she targets like children, very young people. I mean, like she's got Pokemon in the background.
She's even in our phone by other people's.
Exactly. So it's like Diddy's was very violent and very, very evil, but just it's more of an elitist scale.
It is, yes.
It's like for the every guy and every girl,
Very much so.
So there's this one website, which I won't name, and there's this one particular woman, who I also won't name, because if you don't know about them, I'm hoping you won't go and look them up and destroy your life.
So you are aware that like you're the final boss when it comes to
OnlyFans.
right?
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
And I know you saw the clip of Julia making $400,000 a month, so I just need to know like how much are you making a month?
I don't know if I like. I don't really want to hurt your feelings.
All
I
she had
just
to say was
don't.
10
Hurt my
times that amount.
feelings? What do you mean?
I don't want to say.
You don't have to say, just show me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I won't break your phone.
Who is this girl?
I don't know. Just another podcast.
I actually like kind of tearing up. $4 million?
All that money and just
$4
Yeah.
million in a month?
I mean,
Just so we're clear, this is $4 million
Yeah,
in
her next goal is to do 1,000.
See, okay, she made $4 million in 1 month, but yet instead of just saying "cool, I'm done," stopping, walking away, you know that she's gonna try to hit the next goal. I think you were saying 1,000.
Yeah, she still talked about wanting to do 1,000 in a month now, or in a month and a day,
Yeah.
in a night. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I mean, I would hate to be the third person, the second person for crying out loud in line. Heaven forbid the last.
I know, that's just like, what are they thinking? Like I said, it's not a flex for the guys
No.
at all. It's like, what are you thinking?
I mean, each guy then ends up having that much more chance of so much crap.
Yeah.
Spiritually and sanitarily.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how that even happened. I don't even know how to think about how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
in 1 month, selling her body to random men on the internet. The industry that she is in has a much larger impact on many more people than even someone as infamous as Diddy.
Yeah. 400,000 in the last 7 days, in case you were. Not even, it's more than that.
I'll have money and
This, I can't even be mad at you. Like, this is y'all's fault. Like, how do y'all men even have that amount of money? You have wives, children, baby mamas, bills. Women, if you're seeing this, go through your man's phone. Because $4 million a month,
it's like that's like, okay, $4 million for her, but that's just because there's hundreds of thousands of guys spending maybe $12 a month to have access to her stuff. So basically, she's selling stuff for $12, not really $4 million.
It's just that's what her she netted.
Yeah, it's like, but each person is only paying, I think the average is about $12 to $15 subscription per month. And I mean, I don't know, that could be outdated, but that's just kind of like what I've heard. So it's like, so you're selling yourself for pocket change.
Exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I promise you, you will find that link in his search history. Go to private. Go to the private tab. It's right up. Spider-Man video bot. Sick. You weird. It's weird because she also looks 14. So
yeah,
get your bag, I guess. $4 million. Disgusting.
Right there.
So this woman made $4 million in 1 month and $43 million in 1 year. And the other woman brings up the point that to earn this much money, there are a lot of men who are paying to watch her, including boyfriends, husbands, and Christians. We'll talk more about why this is arguably a much bigger problem than even Diddy a little later. But I want to show you a few more videos first. In this next video, the same woman says something I don't think anyone expected to hear. And it's pretty...
Okay, now Never brought up to me, and is absolutely correct here. Her target demographic is kids. You look at her room, you look at her headphones. There's a Pikachu, there's a Mew. I think it's Mew. Yeah, it's Mew, not Mewtwo.
She looks like a damn gaming streamer. She looks like somebody that would be like a gaming streamer, one of Tristan's friends. You know, that's what she looks like.
That's what she's targeting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming she must be of age, otherwise she would be able to be, collecting the money.
I don't know anymore.
But she don't look it. And
no.
Why? What's with the headphones? What's with this?
Yeah.
I mean, why? That's so weird. And what guys are like into that? Besides the young ones, what other guys?
The P's.
Exactly.
The P Diddy's.
Exactly.
Disgusting.
Shocking.
I don't want bad stuff like flying around my name. I don't want people thinking that I advertise to kids because that is the last thing I want.
No, of course, I get.
Then you should have never done this. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know, it's like, oh, well, I don't want the bad name. I don't want this. I don't want that. You're gonna get it when you're in this industry.
Hell, even when you're not. I mean, just being woman in general, before I ever was a webcammer, when I was completely and totally innocent, before I'd even kissed the guy, everybody had this rumor going around that I was a slut and that I had slept with all these people and I just had the flavor of the week and all of this stuff, and I hadn't even kissed anybody yet, you know? And so it's like, without even being in that industry, they're ready to tear you to pieces.
Well, that's why there's a lot of teenagers that are killing themselves.
Yeah. Can't
Often.
I didn't care. I mean, it wouldn't last forever. Let him just think it.
Yeah.
You know?
Offing themselves.
Yes. Unaliving.
Unaliving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. It's the women are very, very brutal within the high school and end of middle school.
Middle school to high school. Like
the
beginning parts of high school, I would say. By the time that you're like maybe 16 or 17, you know, there's a drop off. It's not so bad, but even so, like, they still talk even when you're an adult. You know? It's like they have these preconceived notions. It's like if you make your own money in any way, they think, oh, well, she must be a thought rocket, you know? So it's like, but it's just not necessarily true. So if you are doing those things, I can only imagine.
I know.
You know, and I guess a lot of us kind of get that feeling. It's like, well, if they're going to say it, I'm just going to do it anyway.
That's very common, yes.
But, I mean, like I said, $4 million is just absolutely worthless. 43 million, excuse me.
In a year.
And that money won't last.
No.
Because you got a shelf life of maybe 5 years before you age out and somebody moves on to the next stage.
Yeah, so but even at that, 43 million times 5.
But then you got half of it goes to taxes because you're in that higher bracket, and then they blow it on. Whatever. But that's got to sustain them for the rest of their life.
She did it right. If she did it right, though, she could make it and live comfortably without even.
Done it in 1 month.
I know.
You know?
She could have.
Exactly. Invested stuff.
Yeah.
Moved on. You know.
There's ways to do it.
I would really hate to see what the heck she has to do for that kind of money.
No.
You know.
100 men in one night.
I get that.
Yeah, I never, that was never my intention.
But she must know that there are tons of kids who have access to and are watching her content, right? So whether or not she's directly advertising to kids or not, the reality is that she does look really young. And so a significant percentage of her audience is going to be kids.
What happened was that it just like, I watched her video. That didn't sit well with me personally because it just kept me up at night, and I really don't like that you think that way.
Yo, really? Was it that bad?
I don't want anyone thinking that about me. I'm a Christian. Like, I know it's like, it seems odd.
There's no such thing as a Christian's only fan.
No way.
Content maker. I'm sorry. There's not. Once you hit and did what you did, once you hit that many men, Christianity went straight out the window.
Yeah, the only way you can get it back now is through some very serious repentance and service.
To be a monk.
Like, yes, exactly. Like, literally, no more internet. And, and I mean, when I say service, I don't mean the kind that she's used to, but like going out and like working with you. Everything that I'm going to say is going to sound wrong. I was going to say working with your hands, you know? But, you know, like, you know, just literally, that's it. You know, become a nun, become a monk, and serve.
So she says she is a Christian. And when you think about it, it's kind of odd, isn't it? In the Bible, Jesus clearly says that sexual immorality and lust are so serious that if you don't fight against it, it's going to lead you to hell. And this is a woman at the very forefront of promoting sexual immorality and lust, saying with a straight face that she is a Christian. And I'll bet there are countless men who also call themselves Christians, who also think there is nothing wrong with watching this woman who claims to be a Christian sell her body to them.
I'm doing, what did you call it? I don't do anything else with anyone on my, like, it's just me. I was just trying to do social media. I've always wanted to be like an influencer. You know, I look up to all these different influencers, and I was like, I want to do that just for, you know, shits and giggles, just to do something fun with my friends.
You can be an influencer, but if that doesn't happen in your life, I mean, this ends up being the road you go down.
There's not much of a difference, honestly. They both pander and sell
they do.
stupid things.
They do. I mean, even Mr. B sells himself for different things. So
people use you and piggyback off of your name and
yeah.
This is in trouble he's gotten in.
Oh yeah, he's gotten in a lot of trouble. I mean, Mr. Beast is a whole another beast.
Or whatever. And so I started doing that, and my coworkers, some of my unfriendly coworkers that we weren't friends, they went to my manager and said that I was doing and saying I was a star and that I'm doing crazy stuff, which I never have. I'm a virgin. Like, I'm a virgin to this day.
I'm honestly curious. Does she know about Jesus saying that anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart? Just because she has never had physical intercourse with anyone doesn't mean she's pure or innocent before God. But I really think she honestly believes she can be unrepentant in promoting degenerate sexual immorality and still be a Christian. And there are tons of people like her. And a lot of popular megachurch pastors probably enable her in this belief.
Yes.
You know, I just believe in all my heart that he's a Christian. He says he is.
Like, so people were going around saying that I was doing. I got to my manager, so my manager had a meeting with me, and because he's very Christian and he knows my family, he knows I'm very Christian, so he like sat me down and like questioned me and like made me like a 2-hour conversation. I was sobbing my eyes out, and he put me in a corner and like basically fired me, saying that he doesn't want that like around his coworkers, but that was never even the case. So I got fired from my job.
So yeah, you got fired from your job even though it wasn't you.
Yes, and people just kept saying it was me because we do. I mean, I guess we look a little similar, and I just couldn't get away from it. So I just played into it. My friends and people around me were saying that I should just start and that I should just play into it and use it to my advantage, because at this point, what do I have to lose, you know? So that's exactly what I did.
So people thought she was someone else. She got punished because of it. And then she started doing the exact same thing that people thought she was doing, which means she started doing the thing that she originally got punished for, which means her manager was probably right about her in the first place. She's trying to paint herself as the victim here, but I don't think she is a victim at all. But this woman is just the tip of the iceberg in an industry that is arguably even more evil than Diddy's crimes. There's another woman from that same website, who I won't name either, who is going viral for sleeping with an unbelievable number of women in just 24 hours. Previously, she did this with 100 men, and this is what she had to say about this experience afterwards.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yam yam, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different.
There is no kind of. It is that.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? I mean, she slept with people for money.
Yeah.
That's literally what that means.
And she said she had a yam yam, whatever that is. And she
I don't
said
know.
sandwich,
I think
so.
JP covered that and said it's some sort of thing in like British. I can't remember what he said.
Or England or something. Yeah.
British is English.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know my
just
places.
like the fish and chips thing, you know.
Yes.
Feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
it's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
So something about this experience is making her cry and feel bad.
And she knows that. Why do you think she's breaking down? Why do you think she's upset? It's not just because of the physical exertion. It's because she made herself into a sex robot. She made herself into something profane. She did a profane thing, and she should be disgusted with herself. She should be ashamed of herself. And a society should be able to look at that behavior and say that is wrong behavior.
But apparently this is not stopping her from doing this exact same thing again, except this time with 1,000 men. Now, it's obvious that the reason she's doing all of this is for clout and to earn millions of dollars from men who want to watch this sort of stuff. And the really sad part is it's completely working. With the amount of attention that she's getting from this stunt, there's absolutely no doubt that this kind of disgusting, horrific behavior will earn her millions of dollars. And men will be paying millions of dollars to view this kind of behavior. And unfortunately, a lot of people think this is just a normal way to make some extra money.
Okay. So I think that. So I understand it now. This is the real girl. and the other one was getting in trouble with her work because they thought this was her.
And so then she just started doing OnlyFans.
Yeah, and then going along with it more, and
Wow.
that makes more sense now.
Yeah,
But
I was confused because I was like, okay, I thought this was about this one here, and so the other one hasn't actually done it, but still, she's still presenting as like, you know, this young streamer, and she's still, so she made $4 million in a month. Just doing whatever she's doing. So I don't even know what she's doing. Certainly not, but that's so stupid. It's an insane amount of money.
No, this one was breaking down and crying because she did what she did, and then she's talking about going for 1,000, and she can't even handle this emotionally.
Oh, something broken inside, you know.
Daddy issues.
Yeah,
hate to say it, but it is. You know, the women that do not have a strong dad, there is big issues in there.
It almost inevitably always ends up in that sort of situation to one degree or another.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I'm not entirely sure why, but it
almost does, yeah.
I think that for me was like, I was like, oh, I'll do this on the side. Like, it'll just be extra money. A lot of girls in Scottsdale do it. Like, it's kind of the norm out here in the West.
To be clear, this is absolute degeneracy, but it's more than just that. This is.
I just wanted to say, she said she did it on her side. She did it on her side. She did it on her knee. She did front, backwards, upside down. I mean, probably no position she didn't do.
Sin that God hates, both from the woman's side and from the men who are paying for and viewing this filth. And unless this sin is repented of, it will be punished with eternity in hell. Jesus said, if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell. And the reason why this kind of behavior is arguably more evil than even Diddy's terrible crimes is because everyone agrees that Diddy's behavior is evil. But there are still millions of people who are...
I just had to pause it. It showed that clip of Diddy.
Oh my God.
And that's when he got caught one of the first times. And I think it was the beating.
Yeah.
And he was trying to make this apology. And oh my God, it was so fake. I'm sorry. You know,
I don't even know what to think about it.
That whole thing was because he got caught.
Yeah.
He was just sad because he got caught.
Exactly.
That is it.
And that's why this is different, because the women, they don't care.
No, they
They're
don't.
like, yeah, I did it. You know, and it's like, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm gonna go higher.
He would do it again too, but at least he was pretending.
Yeah.
That, you know, he gives a shit.
Exactly.
You know, and that, you know, well, nope. It's like, no, I'm gonna. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I'm gonna go one better now.
Yeah.
You know, wow.
What a piece of.
Yeah, it's just it's garbage.
Who are perfectly okay with women selling their bodies online to men who pay them millions of dollars to do this. A lot of people say this is okay because it's consensual.
Sex is just sex. Like, it's just sex.
But as Christians, we know that sexual immorality...
And sex is not just sex. The spiritual side of it, it connects two people together.
That's why they put rules on it.
Yes.
That's why they say you have to be married, and it has to be one person.
Yes.
You know,
because you give yourself to each other when you're doing something. You guys are intertwined. You are together.
Oh.
So with her doing it 100 guys in one day, now her energy is dispersed between 100 guys. 100. And all of their energy is attached to her.
And she's and so basically they're all married to her, and that's polygamy, and that's not allowed. You know.
Yeah.
And she has taken from them and
Yes.
made them part of herself, and had that sit in her cerebrum for the rest of her life. You
Well,
know?
and a lot of women that do this, that have SEX with a lot of people, they wonder why they're so masculine. Well, that's because they got the energy of however many guys they did it with right attached to them.
Exactly.
When you are a couple and you just do one-on-one, that is it. You are 50-50. You should be split, which means you are going to be mostly what you're supposed to be. That is the way that it should be.
I read an interesting thing about wedding rings. Like, the wedding rings were invented because, you know, you wear them on the left side.
Yeah.
The heart is on the left side, and they said it's supposed to symbolize like the tying of the heart.
Cut it.
Okay.
And you're supposed to suffer through it. You're supposed to struggle through it and everything, because according to the Christians, there is like no marriage in the next life because there's no suffering. So you're intended to suffer and to struggle, and this is supposed to absorb some of that because you're tied at the heart. So
that's very good.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it being why the left side.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Why it's supposed to be tied to the heart. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Immorality is described as extremely serious sin, and we know that this kind of sexual immorality is destroying the lives of countless men and women all over the world, far more than the number of victims of just one man like P. Diddy. There are even professing Christians who are fully participating in this degeneracy, as we saw from the first woman even claiming to be a Christian. There's also a really dark secret that this industry is hiding about the suffering that many of these women are actually going through. There are many accounts of women sharing about this dark side of the industry.
Do you think there is some sort of post-traumatic stress that is in you from this experience?
Yes. People ask me if they should do, and I tell them no. I tell them that it makes life really hard.
And I think to myself, maybe a 9 to 5 won't be so bad.
Honestly, some of my experiences are really humiliating for me.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh, don't cry.
So I can talk about my experiences with honesty, because I knew where to draw the line, and it doesn't bother me the things that I did because I had those standards and everything. And where my expertise was the very strange fetishes that were not sexual at all to me.
Yes.
Looking through a bowl of water at the camera and staring at it for however many minutes.
Yeah.
Or making the balloon noises, some people like the tying of the balloon noises, the extremely weird fetishes.
Yes, there's a lot.
And that was pretty much that. But there was women that I had hired and worked with that I know that it's got to be eating away at them, the things that they did and talked about. And I warned them. I had rules.
Yeah, you said do not talk about this.
Yeah, particularly underage, pedophilic strips and
yes,
everything.
For sure.
And then I started going through their emails and finding that, and I, kicked them off my platform. But it's because there's plenty of money to be had in the world. Why do you have to degrade yourself and break?
Because they want to make
boundaries?
They want to make the most out of it. They want to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did not make that much money, but I made enough money to start this place.
Yes.
And you got to know where to draw the line. I still don't think it can be that bad of an industry if you know where to draw the line.
If you know what to do, how to do it.
Yeah, don't be showing off every little vital bit of yourself.
Yeah.
Learn how to be creative and learn how to spin a story by talking. And,
yes.
Get creative. But they're so stupid. It's oh, here's everything. Here, let me diddle myself for you, and then it's then you get paid for that, and then it's and now with the OnlyFans thing, I guess they actually literally meet up with people and do it and film it.
I guess. I don't.
Because it seems like they actually do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's beyond webcamming now, and it's you could totally be successful in that industry without completely compromising your morals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, now I don't know how they get away with it.
It's smart.
It's so many of the women, I don't know how they don't get murdered.
I know. That's
it's
what I'm
with
thinking.
you had some privacy,
yeah,
but there were still issues that you had to deal with.
There was still some really questionable, shady stuff that was going on there, and it was oh, that's scary. That's a little bit scary.
You think you might have heard murder one night?
Yeah, there was one of my clients that had called, and it was they just wanted me to be on the line, and they never really said a word, but in the background I could sound like somebody was getting strangled and somebody was getting beaten, and then it just stopped, and then they hung up the phone. So it was so was it one of these people that's into just somebody being a witness to this without,
yeah,
or was it just playing?
Yeah, and it could have been the type, I forget what you call it, but the type where they they suffocate until they pass out,
autoerotic asphyxiation. It sounded like there was another person though.
Oh yeah, but it could have been two people doing it.
It's true. But it's like, you know, they never said a word to me. They didn't ask anything of me, and then it's always stuck out weird.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's just something that's like.
And then I had a shoe guy that, you know, we found out that there was a guy that was in his general area that was like cutting off women's feet and having them as trophies in the shed. You know, and he had a whole family. And you know, he was an older gentleman, so he even had grandkids. And
he wanted to fly you out there.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does. It seems like they have like no regard for safety or anything anymore. And
no
freaking lines. No boundaries.
No, they don't.
You know, and because of this, they can't talk about their experiences, and it brings up traumatic responses and everything.
Yeah, it really does.
It's an interesting thing. It's changed. You know, it's like they're just not smart. They don't have any creativity.
And they need to get smarter.
Yeah, and they're not smart. And sure, you might make $4 million, but yeah, you're completely worthless, and it's risking generations of your people and then everybody else around you.
Yes.
You know, everybody that's looked at you is now tainted.
But see, you're making all that money, and then you're going to get somebody that's going to kill you and just take the money.
Take your money, exactly.
And then what?
And good, who cares what kind of money you made when you can't even use it anyway?
I know. And I mean,
It's
what's
sickening.
it worth for the stain that's on your soul?
Exactly, yeah.
That money means nothing. Money within the spiritual side is absolutely nothing.
Right. And they don't have to wait till the afterlife to experience hell. You can see it written on their faces right here that they're experiencing hell.
Yes, exactly.
And you have many sleepless nights. And,
Oh, yeah.
You know, it can be.
What am I doing? Why am I doing it?
You can't ever take it back.
No.
That's why I said you better.
It's been done, and you got to find a way to be in peace with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it may even disappear off the internet someday. People, I mean, I never worried about it. It gets swallowed up over time, and you know.
And the internet is so big.
But it doesn't change the fact that you did it, and you know you did it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you have to be damn square with that.
I know. And the crazy thing is, the internet is not even just world big.
No.
It could be connected to other
It goes
worlds.
beyond. I mean, it goes beyond. I mean, the airwaves and everything
Yeah.
carry way the hell out. So it's like, you know, a million years from now out there, they could be picking this stuff up.
They could.
Mia Khalifa and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, God. So it's like, yeah, you're facilitating hell on earth for yourself right here and now. You don't have to
Yes.
wait to die to experience that.
I know.
It's another thing for me. Actually.
Yep, another drone.
I send a very strong message to young girls. Don't do porn. As much I understand that you want to embrace your sexuality, you want to say screw the man, screw whatever. Like, I can do what I want with my body, but you're just gonna have a life of crap in front of you and
do what you want.
I lied.
Your choice.
Yep.
It was like 5 or 6 months in a row somebody was dying. I have probably 15 friends that have died to either suicide or drug overdose. I just lost somebody that I was very close to last year.
I would pop as many pills as I could get my hands on and then just drink and drink and drink, trying to when I would wake up from my suicide attempts, I would get drunk, and like it was that realization that I hated who I became. I hated money, and it was killing me.
Addicted to drugs now.
See, but that's a good thing. Hating money is a very good thing because in this world, you come into the world broke, you go out of the world broke. So why is money so important to people within this small period of living on this planet?
The only thing that you need money for in the Western world is survival.
Yes.
And you can do your damnedest to minimize that. You can grow your own food. You can learn how to trade. You can raise animals, you know, like even still, you probably have property taxes and stuff. So you still need a marginal amount of
Which
money
is the
to survive.
stupidest thing.
I know. But, you know, like, just make enough to live. And make enough to make somebody else's life a little bit better, but build something that's gonna like last. It's gonna be more tangible.
You know, and help people out.
Exactly.
I mean, it's these people give me that have all this money and don't give any. It's like, well, no, how do you think I got this money? Well, obviously.
But they're miserable.
Yeah, they
Every
are.
last one of them is fucking miserable.
They are.
You know, and like we have very little money, and it's been, you know, to get the extras. Your dad has given us a bunch of stuff for extra things. We make enough for survival.
And we make enough to where we're comfortable. If we get any more money, it goes.
Yeah,
we go. Right. We find who we can help, and we help them.
And if it stays with us, it goes to bettering the land so that we can have something more tangible for our descendants to have.
Just know, people, if we get to be what do you call it?
Monetized.
We will help a lot.
Yeah,
we will help a lot of things, a lot of people, and you can be damned that this channel will go far.
Yeah, I mean that's what we do. It's like because we've been on that other side. We both had money and we were miserable, And like my mother, she gave me everything that I wanted as far as monetary things and gifts and whatever. And I was not a happy person, and it seemed like I never had money, and it led to more freaking problems.
Yep.
And now it's like we're below the poverty level by a large amount, and we're actually happy and successful and functional, and grounded. We know more, and we're not wanting all the time. And
I know.
Like I said, we make enough for survival, and all the extras that we've gotten has come from your dad, as a gift.
Exactly.
And like. That's more than enough, So
very pleased.
If your dad wasn't paying for the internet, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have the internet.
Yeah, he's our biggest support. Thank you, Dad.
And honestly, the most productive years of my life is when I didn't have internet.
But we couldn't get the word out either.
Exactly. So when it came into our life, like we have to do something good with it. Let's do something that's like going to be a viable. Thing to do
exactly
with this gift.
So try to get it out there and let people know that they're not alone out there.
We work on his channel so that he can maybe start having a job and be monetized by the time he's 16.
That would be awesome.
And that's just what we do. We just build people up.
Exactly.
Build people
up.
We'll
help however we can.
And we like to see people succeed, and we like to see people happy. The only reason that I am ever mean to anybody or hard on anybody is because I can see that they're not happy, and it seems to be so easy for them to be happy.
Exactly.
But it's not taken well because they want to live in their misery.
Oh, they really do.
My mother and Jenna and everybody that has cut me out of their lives, it's because they think that I'm better than them. Like, well, I'm just trying to tell you, you can be better. You can be happy. It doesn't have to be that way. It's really simple.
That's very true.
Misery.
Loves company.
Yep, they chase it.
They truly do. I mean,
these women.
Yes.
And it's like I look at her and I can see it.
I know. She's talking about drugs and alcohol. I mean, you can still see it.
And even though like I was secure with what I was doing at the time, I ended up still weaponizing it against you, and that's where I went seriously wrong.
Yes.
And I used to take pills like crazy. Like before every time that I went on air, I popped pills so that I could get that glow. So it was like if it was being done righteously, I wouldn't have had to do that.
No.
And I bet you they do it when they go and meet people, and that's
big more than likely. Yes, I mean I think that's a big thing for them.
And drinking and everything. Too,
yes.
Of course, it's like
a lot of them drink, like fish.
And you're putting yourself in harm's way, and a lot of them they follow the same narrative that I did. They want to stick it to the man.
Yes.
I'm going to take what he's got. I'm going to take. You don't realize what you're giving out as well. And
exactly.
There's a few people out there that have a piece of me still. Not the best part of me, but
it's still a part.
Even if it was friendship, it's just like a friendship. They still have a part.
Yes.
It's like I was selective, but it doesn't matter, and I know these people aren't selective. They probably don't meet even, or even know half of their subscribers, so it's how many of them are killers, and how many of them are rapists, and how many of them are losers?
A lot. And it's like a lot of these ones, they don't know very many of the people. They're just doing what they do. Right. They get drunk, they get high, they do it, they sleep, they wake up, they do it all over again.
Exactly. And then they got their money, and what good? It's just like the Old West. This happened in the Old West too.
Yes.
With the girls that were prostitutes, they would make the money, and they'd go and they would buy booze, and they would buy opium, and they would buy dresses.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, they were broken and old and they didn't have any money.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, it is. It's so crazy. It's the same freaking thing.
Same pattern.
Soiled doves.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Alcohol. I was the kind of person that the party preys upon, and I tried to kill myself with prescription pills. I didn't care anymore.
For 30 people who were dear to my heart, that I knew personally, that were in the industry the same time as me, they didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So 30 of those people have taken their life.
It shouldn't be surprising that a lot of people who are involved in this industry are experiencing psychological distress, and many are even ending their lives early. As evil as Diddy and his crimes are, his crimes will never impact even a tiny fraction of the number of people whose lives have been and are currently being destroyed by this industry. Men.
Tell me this. What am I looking at?
Okay. It says key statistics. It says blank ranks as one of the top 50 most visited websites worldwide.
Okay.
Which is like OY, right?
What?
It's the OY, right? I think. You know,
OF.
OF, yeah.
OF, yeah. So the number of registered OF users is
over 238.85 million.
So even if these people only paying $1 a month,
that's still that much money going into it. Okay.
OF
generates a yearly revenue of over $2.5 billion.
See?
OF was the highest paid blank. Oh no, not that. It's somebody.
Was the highest paid
OF creator in 2023, earning approximately USD 20 million monthly, with a subscription price of USD 19.95.
That's the top tier. That's $20. So that means you really are selling yourself for $20.
Mm-hmm.
And so the average that I've seen is between 12 and 15. And I don't care how much money you have in your bank account. Some guy is getting the most deepest part of you for fucking $20.
Yeah.
You know?
Not even $19.99.
Right. Well, yeah. And you know what? Like, you only get half of that.
Yeah.
If it's anything like it used to be. If you get that, mine was half. I had to work up to that. It started off as 30%. And then it finally went up to 50%.
As long as you bring in the people.
And I mean, you have to fucking bust your ass. I mean, it's it's just it's
of course
constant thing. Always sending out pictures, always advertising, always on your mind.
Non-stop.
Never take a break. You can't take a break. I would take a break for a couple of days and I would see my statistics drop just like that, because there's somebody else there to take your place. It's such a high pressure situation. And that was like nothing like this. I mean, this is a whole nother beast.
That's crazy.
And so they're really honestly selling themselves for $10.
Yes. Okay. OF has a monthly traffic of over 1.02 billion. More than 44% of all traffic to this site comes from the United States.
That's the West.
Yep. 500,000 new users join daily. Over 1.4 million creators offer their content on OF. Female creators can earn 78% more than men. The platform's audience predominantly comprises males who make up to 87%.
And the best OF creators make $100,000 every month.
Yeah.
That's insane. So oh my god. If you're a guy that's listening to this, just stay away from it because that's going to taint you in the worst ways and it's going to drain your bank account and it's going to drain your vital energy.
I mean, that's insane.
It's money that could be way better spent somewhere else.
Yes.
Horrible.
Men and women selling their bodies online and men and women paying for this content is not only resulting in guilt and shame, and it's not only destroying families and marriages, and it's not just messing up an entire generation of young people, but we need to remember that it's also sin. And yes, the sin needs to be repented of. But this is a sin that's particularly difficult for a lot of men and women to fight against. It's a battle that's really only possible to win by looking to God's word and trusting in the power of the Holy Spirit. And if you are struggling with this sin today, and I imagine many of you probably are, I hope you'll first trust in Jesus Christ and his power to save sinners through faith alone, and not through perfect behavior. And then second, find people you trust to confess your sin to, who can keep you accountable and encourage you to fight the good fight and stay on the narrow path.
When I encounter young men or young women who are struggling with,
And I think one of our greatest mistakes is that we talk about pornography only in terms of young men. There are young women who struggle with not in.
Yeah, the pornography is such an evil beast. I've done at least a live stream on it and a special, I think, on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, go watch those. Go check them out. I'll try to pin them to the comments on this one
The
when we're done.
statistics are crazy.
And anybody that suffers with it, I'm sorry, man. It's an evil beast to get rid of. And it'll ruin your life so quickly.
You can't get rid of it.
No.
I mean, the only way, again, to get rid of it is through service and everything, but it's there.
It is.
That thing's below the line of the mountain. What you call it? Shit, it's gone now. There was one of the drone things, but it was below the mountain line. It's gone now. But yeah, it's like this whole different thing. It'll like damage your relationship going into it. You know, and if you're a girl that's doing these things, just know that it's like seriously not worth it. No matter how much you're getting paid. All these people have a piece of you know, for a very nominal amount of money.
In the same way, not in the same numbers, but it's real. We live in a culture, and that's one of the things that makes it very difficult to deal with. We've been so inundated with that we're desensitized to, and that line at which we will say that's has been drawn so far out into the realm of the inappropriate that we have people who dress and they're not bothered by it, and we're not bothered by it anymore. So one thing that I say to people in this area is that we need to recognize that we are living in a pornographic culture. And the reason I say that is because part of dealing with the roots of pornography are acknowledging the fact that we have been desensitized to it, and acknowledging the fact that my problem with pornography, let's say that there's a pornography scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is, you know, full on, you know, I'm engaging in, you know, the worst examples and extremes of pornography. Well, I think culturally, we probably live every day around a 3 or 4, just in commercials and just in, you know, and just in things that we become desensitized to. And so if I'm living at a 3 or 4 and a 5 or a 6 really doesn't bother me anymore, then when I get to a 9, my goal in dealing with somebody who's at a 9 is not to say, come back to a 5 or 6. My goal with them is to say, I want you to recognize not just that this is an issue, but that even those things that are down here in the areas that we're not even bothered by are issues. Not so that the person becomes, you know, just afraid of looking around, but so
Mainstream commercials.
Yes.
And everything. I mean, everything is so sexualized. I mean, they put these little indie windows in and everything, and everybody just doesn't even bat an eyelash.
No.
All of his friends, they don't even. It's just like normal.
You know, there's that. There's the top 2. There's the pornography ring, and then the other one that bothers the hell out of me is the prescription ring. The opioids and stuff, and it's like the commercials are so terrible for all of them.
Well, they don't have commercials for them. They don't have commercials for opioids.
Not opioids, but just prescriptions in general. It's like even the ones that there are, it's like it'll cause all this.
I know, they tell you straight up. But they show you these happy people doing this shit that doesn't have anything to do with what they're trying to sell.
Yeah, and it's like, but the usually the side effects are worse than what you're trying to get rid of. Like, okay, you have a sore throat. May cause vomiting, diarrhea.
To merge those two things, there's this commercial that they have for HIV, to manage HIV, right?
Yes.
And it shows all these happy couples, quote unquote, you know, both same sex and otherwise, mostly same sex. And it says right in there, it says, you know, it won't treat this and it won't treat that. And you still need to practice safer sex. So they already know that you're freaking like engaging in promiscuous sex.
Yes, exactly.
And risky behavior and everything. They say you need to practice safer sex, and it's like, but it's no big deal. We have this medication to help you out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
To merge those two things.
Yeah.
You know? Then there's birth control and Plan B, and it's like,
yeah.
Again, it's like, go ahead and go do whatever you're gonna do. We have this medication to cover you.
Yep.
No biggie. And those things are. Those are nasty, like the Plan B and stuff.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's some heavy stuff.
Yes.
And lots and lots and lots of side effects there too.
God, there really are. It's insane. I mean, both of those are live streams for another day.
Like
we got
the
enough
thing
stuff.
I showed you this morning,
Yes. I mean, it's crazy.
So that the person of their need for Christ to cleanse their minds, not just of the website where I'm watching, but also of my lack of sensitivity to those everyday examples of pornography that are around me, because to the degree that I go on accepting them and am no longer bothered by them, to that degree, I'm setting myself up so that the leap from that 5 to that 9 is a very short leap.
Yes.
And it's not just so that I won't leap over into the worst of pornography, but it's so that I can understand the dignity inherent in human beings made in the image of God, and how my embrace of a big understanding of my fellow man, my fellow woman, is the embrace of the destruction of their dignity. So that if I see a young woman who is presenting herself in a way, and that's not bothering me, I've just said something about the dignity of that woman as made in the image of Christ. And until that becomes an issue for me, not in the sense of walking around, sort of with my eyes, blocked off, but in the sense of appropriating.
So, like I was saying, to raise sons that are like just disgusted by women that are like not modest and stuff.
Yes.
That's like a main thing, because like his friends, they are his age, the girls.
Yes.
And the things that they wear, hell no.
I know.
Hell no. I
It's
wasn't
gotten
even wearing
so.
stuff like that until I was like 20 years old.
No, it's gotten so worse. It's like it's normalized for these women to go. There's not women, children
Girls, yes,
still
yes.
to go out in these short shorts, crop top things that barely show, barely don't hide anything.
Like they had this thing that like all the way up the side, and he said for Halloween everybody's wearing the fishnet stockings and super short skirts, and I mean this is like at school, like school events, and then like I saw the one going to school dances, and it's like if she bent over,
there's nothing that can stop.
And so there was even people on the mother's Facebook, and they were saying, "Oh my gosh, if that was my daughter, no way." It's like, "Oh, just chill out, everybody. She's got shorts on underneath that." You and I both know that's not gonna stop anything.
Nope.
It's
no.
Like, no.
And and it's like the food that is out there now, the fast food and everything. It's got these 14-year-olds looking like they're 20.
I know.
It is insane.
I know. Even the men, even the boys.
Yeah.
It's like,
mustaches at 12.
Yeah. Exactly. His little friend, it was like 8 years old. And, Tristan's in here defeating Gannon for the first time, and all of a sudden his friend comes running up the stairs, and I almost freaking clocked him because I thought he was a full-grown freaking man. He was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And he was as tall, if not a little bit taller than me already. And I'm like,
and this is somebody that we grew up around knowing.
Yes.
His friend,
I mean, I knew him when I literally
knew him. Almost used to live here.
Since he was like, before he was 1 year old.
Yeah.
We met at the doctor's office, and it just happened to be living in the same area.
Close, and it worked out really well for us.
They known each other forever, and he's such a lecher. He's such a little lecher now, and it's like he stalks girls. Like he gets their addresses on Snapchat and says this is where she lives, and oh look, she's going for a walk right now, and all this shit. I mean, it's like. It's the hormones in the fucking food.
And it's insane the technology
that
allows this.
Yeah, that don't help at all.
No.
And he's in love with somebody 3 times a day, different girls and everything.
Yeah.
Because he's got access to that. You know, he got in trouble looking at porn at school.
Yes.
And it's like, what the hell? And they're supposed to be Christians.
Yeah.
You know, and he's engaging in one of the most carnal sins already. He's
I know.
already tainted. You know, and our son has been in love with the same person that he's never even met in person.
Exactly.
For like 3 years. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and he says, I'm going to wait. He's like, it's like, I'm going to do everything that I can. And he even said the longer that he's gone without talking to her, the more in love he is with her.
Yeah.
You know? And
The gentleman.
Yeah, she's a really sweet girl. She's really nice. She's really down to earth. You know, she's modest.
Yes.
And it's like, do you see the difference? You know?
Major.
But, you know, I mean, but yeah, I do agree that the hormones in the foods have a lot to do with that.
They do.
You know, in the milk and in the
Because it's got,
fast food.
yeah, it's gotten so much worse.
Yeah. So let's make it healthier. Oh, what the hell did you do? I mean, it's like people are. I mean, another one of his friends was pregnant at 14,
Yep.
had a baby at 15.
Yeah.
You know, and not together with the guy, of course. You know.
No.
And just
Because that's rare anymore. It's rare to find a couple that stay together, even if it's young or older.
even if they wanted to, you have the parents now discouraging that for some
Yes.
reason. And it's like you would think that once that's done, it's like, well, you're married now. It's like whether it's on paper or not, you're married.
Yeah, you're stuck because you are. You have to deal with each other constantly at that point.
Yeah, but they just cause more dysfunction.
They do.
And apparently the stepmother, she also had gotten pregnant at the same age. So it's like, so you guys aren't doing anything.
I know.
Of course, you know who I'm talking about. And you know the shit that she's done also.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, it doesn't stop. It
No.
doesn't stop. There's no respect. There's no mutual respect between
No.
the parents. There's no mutual respect between the fathers and the mothers of
I
these
know.
children. And it causes more dysfunction. And the fall of the West. You know?
It really is, yeah. All right, so we'll finish this one, and then we're going to go on to Matt Walsh at least.
Yeah, I really liked his point about this.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really good points.
I was sitting there and actually kind of like dropped my mouth open going, oh my God, he stuck them. There's no way to get around that one. That's a checkmate right there.
Yep, mic drop.
Yep.
Creating God's grace and asking Him to appropriate that grace in me, even at that level. Until I'm there, I'm not really dealing with this issue of pornography. And ultimately, when I come down to it, not only is it that issue of the inherent dignity and value of human beings made in the image of God, the not defrauding my brother and my sister, but also this idolatry of believing that it's okay to use another human being in order to gratify myself in any way, sexual or otherwise. So what I want to do, and I know that's a long way around, but what I want to do when dealing with this issue is I want to uproot and uncover all of that, so that we can not just have this sort of legalistic response to, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to put things in place so that I don't do that anymore, but so that we have a response that goes all the way back to, the cleansing of our.
Talking about modesty, it's like there was a picture that I saw in a couple of different conversations that I've like kind of watched online now, like regarding hijabs and burqas, the veils that cover.
Yeah.
And like there was one that had a girl in bikini and a lady in the burqa, and the girl in the bikini saying, "Oh my gosh, how could you be so have such low self-worth to wear such a thing?"
I know.
And the girl in the burqa saying the same thing. How could you have such low self-worth, letting every man see every access part of your body?
And it's like the one in the bikini too wasn't thinking about the spiritual connection that has for that person.
Exactly.
The spiritual tie that it has.
Like I wear a headscarf as dictated because of the modesty thing.
Yeah.
It's like my hair is a sacred thing, and it's like only really my family should be able to see that. And so it's kind of takes it up a step higher with these Muslim women, whether they do the full body cover and everything, because they're like, I have such high self-worth that only the one that I intend to love is supposed to see any part
Exactly.
of me, whether it's the face or the body or whatever. It's like that's for him and him alone, and nobody else needs to see that.
Yep.
And it's so like looked down upon here in the West.
It really is.
Even one of my, that comment that was made a couple of weeks ago, it was like, well, we're going to go back to wearing burqas if that's the case. And
I know, and it's like, what's wrong with that?
I know, it's like, well, that's kind of really insensitive because, like, I think that's kind of, that would be kind of nice. I think that'd be great if it was normalized. I would totally do it. It's like, you don't have to worry about your makeup and how your hair looks. You just cover it up and go. And
exactly.
Like, you got this sense of security and everything. Because you don't need everybody looking at everything that you have to
you
offer.
don't.
It's so different in the West the way they think about that.
It is.
And there was one that I saw the other day, and the girl was twirling around in front of it. She had a full burqa. She had her eyes slit, and she's like, "I'm feeling like a queen. I feel so pretty. And people are in the comments saying, "Oh, really? Like, you're kidding, right? It's like that's so oppressive." And she's like, "Why? Because I want everybody to see my vital bits, So like, she's like, no, I feel like a queen because I respect myself.
Exactly.
So it's like really weird how they think about it so different here.
They do.
And it's like here they do. Like I said, even his 14, 15-year-old friends are showing off pretty much everything.
That's ridiculous.
The cleavage, the butt, everything is like, it's like barely covered. It's there's like nothing, there's no modesty,
There isn't.
I like the face veils and stuff, and
I know, and it looks good.
Yeah, it's like you can still express a lot with the eyes. People were saying in that lady's comments like, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful. You're so pretty," and because they could see her eyes, they could see her soul, they could see how happy she was with the way she moved. And stuff,
the eyes don't clash with anything else. It's like they're there, and you can truly see.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I wasn't afraid of the security threats that everybody always comes up with around here, and being like shot, then I would wear the full veil too. But you know, like they just don't take it well.
No, they don't. They
So
really don't.
It's like even the headscarf gets really strange looks, and even the Christians are supposed to wear headscarves. They say that the angels came down to earth because they fell in love with the women's hair.
There you go.
So that's why they cover it, and it's they're supposed to be covered during prayer. And,
yes.
And then when you go out in public and everything. So. I mean, weird cultural things.
I know.
The more that you learn about these other cultures and their modesty, it's like, well, that makes sense.
It really does.
Even in Japanese culture, their dresses, their kimonos are full length. They cover all the arm.
Yep.
They cover all the way down the body and everything. And they say that those are the most beautiful women in the world.
Well, of course, because it allows for that special person then to be the one that gets to truly see how that person looks.
And you can see somebody's personality. It comes outside of the clothes. You can see that they're beautiful that way by the way that they carry themselves. And like the one video I showed you today with the girl sitting on the edge of the thing, waiting for people to come by so she could show off her new dress.
And then nobody was.
Yeah, nobody's coming by because she lives like out in a place like this. But you could just tell she was so happy.
I know. She was excited and she wanted it.
Yeah, so they have to really stop the stigma of the burqas and the hijab being so oppressive because it's not,
I know. I know.
Anyway, modesty.
Modesty, very much so.
Of our minds to be able to appreciate one another as being made in the image of God and not just accepting this ordinary predisposition that has become so normal.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm a deacon, a husband, a father, a software engineer, and an amateur maker of videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help me in my mission to spread biblical truth, just subscribe and watch these videos until the end, which will help the YouTube algorithm recommend these videos to more people. I'm committed to using the skills and gifts God has given me to glorify Him and communicate biblical truth. And I would be so grateful if you would come be a part of what I'm building. You can visit my website at joyfulexile.com to learn more about me and what I'm working on. I hope you're having a blessed day. I will see you in the next video. And remember, this world is not our home.
Wait, what?
Lily Phillips is a woman who recently...
All right, yes, please check out the Joyful Exile. He's really good. He's got some good content that we've gotten here and there from. So, yeah, please check him out.
I agree.
Recently went viral for the wrong reason, for one of the worst possible reasons a person could go viral. She is, I guess, an OnlyFans, what they would call an OnlyFans model, but really an OnlyFans prostitute. And she decided to have sex with 100 men in one night. Okay, 100 men in one night. And it was filmed, of course, and I guess made available on her OnlyFans page.
We're supposed to, and even Christianity, they're encouraged to.
Now, there are a bunch of videos now circulating of Lily Phillips after the fact, talking about the experience of, having sex with 100 men. And in the videos, I don't have any of them to play right now, but you can find them on, on X and all that.
No, this is the second one.
In the videos, she looks.
The one that's up.
She looks like someone who just had sex with 100 men. Okay, she looks terrible. She looks gross and sad and depressed and in pain and used up. Just exactly how you would imagine somebody might look after an experience like that. And she's talking about it, and she's saying that it was a pretty horrible experience. What do you know? It wasn't very enjoyable. And yet, by the way, she's planning to do it again. Okay, in fact, her next.
They don't do it for the enjoyment. They do it for the fans. They get a little enjoyment out of that type of thing. The fans, the attention, the spotlight on them.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of other stuff.
I don't think that they talk about it here, but on JP's, he had a little bit more of her interview. And she was talking about, she's like, well, it's kind of like I'm not even there. She's like, I only remember maybe 5 or 6 of the guys. And it's like, that's because you are being traumatized.
Yeah.
You're not meant to do that. Your body's not meant to handle that. Your soul's not meant to carry that.
No.
And she's like, yeah, I can only remember like 5 or 6, maybe 10 of them. It's like, clinically, that's called dissociation.
It is.
That's what happens to rape victims and, people that suffer sexual abuse. The only difference is she's doing it to herself.
Yeah, she is.
But it's still nonetheless sexual abuse. She's self-harm. And she's dissociating it. And,
she for sure is. And that's like a severe trauma. That's
severe
trauma, major.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like they're literally traumatizing themselves for
they are.
$1. Okay, it would be $4 million or 5. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. It's like it is not worth
Might as well have been $1.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, seriously. And again, we keep talking about, it's like at most $20. You're letting somebody have access to you.
Exactly.
For like $20.
That is passed up. It's like, well, I make this much. Okay, yeah, not per guy.
No. That's just it too. It's like quality over quantity. It's like the sugar babies. They're committed to one guy.
Yep.
And they're there for the beck and the call and for the girlfriend experience or whatever the agreement might be. And they're getting a fair amount of money. Still not that much money.
No.
But it's like one guy at a time.
But it's safer too.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think I'll ever knock a sugar baby for the stuff that they do in comparison to this.
I know.
It's like,
this is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. A lot of the sugar babies are literally just that. They're just companions.
Yes.
And if you're a webcammer, you don't, like I said, you should be able to set your own rules. You don't have to show everything. You don't have to do the things that they ask you to do. You can just click the button and send them away.
Exactly.
But they want that it's a competition between them, between the girls. It's like, I want that 10%. I want to be the top 5%. I want to be with it.
Oh my God, so bad. Yes.
And like I said, there's always somebody there to take your place as soon as you start to slip, and it's a huge competition.
Yeah. So if you have one small slip up, you're gone. Yeah. Somebody else will just swap all of your clients.
I used to be in the top 10. You make it to the top 10. It was like the lower, it was like 8. It was but I had to bust my ass to get there. And then I didn't have internet for like a week, and it put me down to like 87.
Thank God you had a few clients already that were regulars.
And I rolled them over to my new platforms.
Yes.
And I was smart. Once it started to get to the point where I was like, this is too much, I went and started the platforms.
See?
And hired other girls.
Yeah, to help work it.
And then I got half of their money. That's what I said. I was like, I'm like, you're getting half of my money. I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
Now you guys can work for me, and I'll get half of your money, and I don't got to do anything. But it's like, you're right. It's the spotlight. It's the competition. It's the bragging rights.
It is.
And it is not worth 1 red cent.
No, it's not. It's not worth any of it.
And
your soul is not worth money.
No. And the body is obviously being traumatized.
Oh yeah, it
situations.
is.
Like I said, it's really, really hard for me to get my head around it. This is not just webcamming. They're actually
doing stuff.
Like doing stuff actively with people. That is so weird to me. It's like, how did we take a step back? The whole reason that the internet stuff was invented was so you didn't have to do that.
It's true, yes.
And then they went right back to it anyway.
Yeah, they did.
You know?
Well, I mean, look at the way the cell phones are. They started off really big, they got small,
right,
and now they're back to big, and then they went to small again.
But they have big screens so that you can take in all of their nonsense.
Exactly.
Out there, whether it's this stuff or skibbity toilets, you know.
Yeah.
It's just trash. And
I
it's
know.
like they made the screens big so that you could absorb more of it.
Exactly, and so the actual phone's not that big. It's just the screen that you're looking at.
Yeah.
They even made like the home button into the main screen.
Yeah.
So it's not like a separate button.
Right. No. So it doesn't, take more
Yes.
valuable trashy space. I mean, you got to see it. See the game that
Exactly.
they're playing out there, and it's all designed to demoralize you and take you off the path of righteousness.
It really is. Yes.
All right. Let's do it.
Goal is to have sex with 1,000 guys in a day.
It's a good one.
Which, just physically, in terms of the time constraints, I don't even know how that would seem to defy the laws of physics. But that's her plan. So she's not stopping. She's going to continue doing it.
10 times.
And there's been a lot of discussion about this, and much of the discussion has been really on both sides of the political divide. Much of the discussion has been extremely sympathetic to Lily Phillips, as if she's the victim of this thing that she did and plans to do again. Not only that, but much of the commentary on social media and in the media blames the men who participated in this more than Lily Phillips herself. They're the villains here, is what we're being told. So, for example, just one example of many. Here's The Spectator. Here's an article that they just published. Headline:
I think that might be.
Shame on the men exploiting Lily Phillips. Not shame on Lily Phillips, shame on the men. So there's been a lot of that. And
You just offended the enemy.
this is the way it goes now. Feminists demand that we celebrate a woman's sexual freedom. But then when a woman makes a really bad choice with her sexual freedom, suddenly she's a damsel in distress and it's everyone's fault but her own. That's the game. It's always been the game with feminists. They want freedom without accountability. That has always been the problem. Again, one problem of many, but there's always been one of the central problems with feminism from the beginning is you want all the freedom, all the choice, you want all that.
That could work, possibly.
Empowered, everything. The accountability part is the part where it always breaks down. You will not accept accountability, and it doesn't work that way. You cannot have one but not the other.
Yeah, we were talking about that's a feminine quality.
Yeah, so a positive masculine quality that women can learn from is to accept the heat and
Yes.
admit where you have gone wrong and just take that in.
Yes.
It's a feminine quality to try to push it off and avoid accountability and be like, well, it isn't my fault. That's a really crappy feminine quality.
It really is. Yeah.
And something
I'm still
that,
like men.
like I said, they'd be better off getting rid of and learning from the men on that one.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, responsibility is a dimension of freedom. You can't sever them. It's like saying, it's like if you have a quarter in your pocket and you say that it's your quarter, you own it, but you own just the head side, not the tails. Oh, the tail side of the quarter is not yours, just the head. You can't have it. You cannot have one side of the coin but not the other. You just can't. So it's nonsense. And now I've heard that, Lily is harming herself. This is a self-destructive thing that she's doing. It's self-harm.
Yeah.
And
very much.
It's no different from if she was, cutting herself, mutilating herself, and so on. It's like that, and so she's a victim. Well, now you're right. It is harmful. It is self-destructive. It is in many ways sort of self-mutilating. Yes. But the men are also harming themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Having sex with a woman when you are, number 62 in line out of 100 or whatever. That's a lot of things. That is disgusting. That is revolting. That is nauseating. That is awful. That is demeaning. That is.
Okay, I might have said it earlier, but I can't even imagine being second in line, third in line, much less 100.
And imagine if, like, not that she was a virgin to begin with, but imagine how heartbreaking it is for the first guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's the one that set the bar, and now everybody's going to be measured against him, and, you know, like, everybody's going to be talking about that.
You better have been memorable.
Yeah, right, exactly. But, you know he wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah, 'cause he's first.
Only 10% of what she encountered was memorable for her, if that. So, I really like what he has to say here.
Yes.
Emasculating, that is all the bad things. It's also harmful to the men. They are putting themselves at severe risk, for physical reasons, big one being the diseases that you are subjecting yourself to, almost certainly. Also harming yourself mentally and emotionally.
Yes.
So if she is a victim, why aren't they? In fact, if she's being exploited, why aren't they being exploited? She's the one profiting. She's the one selling the video. These men are just marks. They're pawns. You could say, oh, well, no healthy woman with a right mind would do something like this. So she's a victim. No healthy man in his right mind would be a part of this. I mean,
let's just say it. No healthy person would be a part of this.
Right.
And do this. I mean, this takes people that are sick in the head, whether it be a sex addiction or it be medication.
I think it's just low self-esteem and a want of money. Everything that's so normalized to be sexual.
It really is.
So, like the pastor said, we're always running around at a level 3.
Yeah.
Because it's just like regular everyday things. So it's like they're so desensitized. Oh, sex is just sex. I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even the guys doing it.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm sure that they got paid for it as well. I can't imagine them doing it, or they get clout. Which,
child.
Yeah.
If she gets pregnant, I mean, can you imagine figuring that one out?
Oh my god, that'd be so horrible.
I mean, there's 100 guys, and it all was within that same period. So it's like, okay, whose is it? What? Just put all the fathers on and collect that paycheck?
Oh my god. Well, they need us.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, imagine it. Just any kind of child being brought in from that situation.
No. I can't.
She's not the kind of person that would do that. You know what she would do.
Oh, no.
I'm sure she probably took the plan B like 5 or 6 times when she was done, but...
and that's so sad to think about.
Because children are supposed to be created in moments of love. And trust and everything.
Yes.
Not for a fucking video, excuse my language, but, not for a video.
It's true.
Or a live stream or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think about that. That's
that's sad.
It's so crazy.
Volunteer to be a part of this is on either side. Means that there's something really wrong with you. And yet, it only goes one way. The accountability only goes one way. It only ever goes one way. It's like when a man has sex with a drunk woman and is accused of rape. Drunk sex is non-consensual sex, is, they say. Except that he was also drunk. So if he raped her, then didn't she rape him? Aren't they raping each other by that logic? If they're both drunk, if they're both inebriated?
But it always is the guy that's above all else.
There's literally a propaganda poster that was like, Jill got drunk and Jerry got drunk and they had sex, and Jerry's the rapist. It was not that exactly. I have to find it, but
it's exactly true.
It was exactly that. It's like it was still not consensual. It was not. He's the rapist, So it's like.
But he could be more drunk than her, but he's still the rapist.
Right.
You're cheating.
Because a guy is supposed to know more when he's drunk.
Oh, but see, again, that's gonna prove what he's about to say. Then, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Didn't she take advantage of him also? But you never hear that, ever. You never, ever hear that. You never hear of a woman getting accused of, much less charged with rape, for having sex with a drunk man. Never hear it. It only goes one way. Accountability only goes one way, ever, on this sort of thing. Now, the only way, this is the important point, okay? Because we can lament the double standards. I mean, the double standards are very obvious here. You can't. I mean, it's like getting smacked in the face with a 2x4. Like the account. That's how obvious it is. You can't miss it. But let me try to make sense of it. The only way to make sense of this double standard, where two people, man and woman, can willfully engage in a certain act. An act that, in this case with Lily Phillips, not only are she willfully engaged, she is initiating it, inviting the men, advertising it, selling it, making money on it. The only way to look at that and say, oh, the man is exploited the other way around, the only way to do it is to say that the man is the leader, that the man is in charge, that the man is basically the captain of the ship. And so he gets the blame when the ship goes down, even if a dozen other people are also to blame. Even if, in fact, the captain didn't screw up, even if the captain did everything right, still, he gets the blame. And in the old days, he goes down with the ship, even if it wasn't his fault, right? Right, the Titanic hits the iceberg.
But, still, again, I love it because it's so true. It is with the olden days. The captain always goes, I work for an old sea captain. And it's true, the person that's the captain will always take the fault.
Yeah, no matter if it's not their fault
No.
at all.
If it's one of their crew's fault, it's still their fault because that guy's under them.
Yep. And I'm always telling you that here too. It's like you're
Yes.
the one that's saying that you're going to take over these things. You're the one that says you're going. So it's like no matter what happens, it's your fault.
You have to
know,
take
it's
accountability.
Like, but that means that that's admitting that you are in fact in charge.
Yes, it really is.
That's the point that he's making here. It's like this was a great checkmate. I'm gonna take this clip because this was such a checkmate from him. It was like, oh wow. Like I said, I was in the bathroom doing my hair and my mouth just dropped. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got them over the fence on this one.
I love it.
And it's like, then they have to admit if it's like, the men must be in charge. The men must know more if they're going to say that, oh my God, they're exploiting her.
Yes.
So every time a feminist says something like that, then you know that they're canceled out.
Start using it for all of the trans. And
It's like God.
Yeah.
That was a good one. But yeah. It's like as the leader, it does not matter what happens. If you're the leader, if you're in charge, then if something goes wrong, it's your fault. You take it. And you take it with grace.
Take the accountability.
And then you do better next time.
Yes.
And then that spurs you to be a better leader and to make sure that your people are doing what you're supposed to do.
Be a better person.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like it builds a hell of a lot of character.
It does. It really does.
So it's like you got to take extreme accountability. I mean, to the extremes. It's a hard thing, but it builds character.
It's something that has to be done in those situations.
The captain was asleep. He had somebody else in charge of that. It's not his fault. He's got to go down with the ship. That's the burden of leadership. The burden of leadership is responsibility. And you got buck stops with me, right? And you got to take blame for stuff that you didn't do.
You do.
Okay.
So the only way to look at Lily Phillips and condemn the men and not her is to say that the men are supposed to be leaders and the leaders take the blame. That's the only way. Which means you have to abandon feminism entirely. You cannot be a feminist and say that Lily Phillips is being exploited. You can't. The only way to say it is to say that the men are more responsible because they're supposed to be leaders.
He checkmates it here, mic drop, however you want to say it. But they still will find a way around it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I kind of want to see some people do a response to this, but
yeah,
I'm definitely taking this clip because it was like that is pure gold right there.
Yeah, we might do more with it later, or
yeah, I'm just gonna keep it. And
yeah,
have it on hand, because that was very.
Hey, Sancho.
Hello.
We got like a few minutes left of this one, and then we're ending the stream. But good to see you.
So any person, any feminist who looks at this as, oh, well, she's the victim, you have abandoned feminism. It's done. You're out. You are out. What you are saying, this is as dramatic a statement as you can possibly make, reinforcing the most traditionalist idea of so-called gender norms imaginable. Okay, you are saying the men are in charge, the men are leaders, they should know better, they should be guiding her, and they're not.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. The problem is that most of the people involved in this discourse are not willing to admit that.
Of course they're not.
They want to have it both ways, always. They want to have the cake and eat it too.
There we go.
But even then, let's say, because there are, like I said, there are some people on the right who are also, looking at this and say, oh, she's a victim, the poor woman. And many of them, I'm sure, are listening to this, and they'll say, yeah, you know what? I do think men are leaders. I'm not ashamed of that. And so, yeah, I blame them. Okay?
I'll see if they start barking.
And I'll just say, those people are the only ones I can even take seriously in this conversation. I can't, the feminists, I can't take you seriously.
Okay.
Because your whole, it doesn't make any sense. It's completely incoherent. 1 minute you want to get rid of the gender norms. Men and women are the same. Men are not leaders. Women are the boss babes. They're in charge. In fact, women are more competent, smarter.
Happens.
And the next minute, oh, she's a damsel in distress. That doesn't make any sense. You're not serious. You're not serious people. I can't listen to you. The only people I can even.
Yes, I love that. You're a damsel in distress.
Only when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, but yet
you can handle anything that's thrown at you up until that point.
Exactly. You can't take the heat though.
And then when something goes wrong,
yes.
It's like no, oh no.
I mean, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Then why did you do it?
Exactly, yeah.
Or if you want to go more, not necessarily why did you do it, but why aren't you trying harder?
Right.
You wanted to do this, so now you are forced to try and do better for whatever you can.
Yeah. And this is pretty much mostly for the end of this conversation. But in case I have to go deal with something, I wanted to say it like. It is up to the men to change the situation. It is up to the men to lead women in a better direction, and that starts with fathers and husbands, of course, and boyfriends even. It's like you don't entertain a woman that's going to go and do something like that. Don't watch their content. Don't date them. Stop that, because
exactly
it is up to men. And really it starts with the fathers. It's like, don't raise daughters to
oh my god, that is one of the most important parts,
right? So it's like what you have to do as a father is to tell your daughters, no matter what, you love them and that you're going to be there for them, because the minute that if you're not saying those things, the minute that some asshole that doesn't actually believe that tells her I love you, and she's going to believe it.
Yes, exactly.
And it's going to lead her down a dark path. Okay. So.
And that voice is the strongest, most impressionable voice that you can put on your daughter.
Yeah.
Is the father figure being strong, staying masculine, and showing her what the feminine role is.
Right, that way she can have the highest standards when she goes to choose a mate in this life. And, so it really does come down to the men to stop these sorts of things from happening.
It does.
Like I said, don't entertain them by watching their content. Don't entertain them by dating them. If you're a husband, make sure. There's so many husbands out there that let their wives do OnlyFans and everything.
Oh, I know. There are some that let their wives and daughters do OnlyFans.
I know. And it's like you gotta stop that, because it's just perpetuating more.
It is. It really is.
So as the leaders, and it's like you gotta put your foot down and be like, no, this isn't going to happen under my watch. That there's going to be a lot of women that push back and rebel against it for a while, but if enough men start stepping forward and making sure that this is, good leaders, then it eventually will turn
Exactly.
back. So, yep, it's up to you guys.
It is. It really is.
Raise sons, again, like I said, to be disgusted by anything that's not modest. And
raise kings.
Yes, raise kings.
Let them stand up and show these women how a man is supposed to be, so the women can come in and be their feminine self and
take care of them.
Yes.
Love them. Truly love them, not like let them go do what they want to do, but truly love them as Christ, as Christ loved people. Like what we always say, love does not mean acceptance.
Here, guys,
if you love a toddler, you don't let it go run and play in the street.
No, you wouldn't at all.
If you love your daughters and your wives and your girlfriends, you don't let them go play on OnlyFans.
No, you don't. Somebody has to say it.
Yep.
Better you than one of her friends, where she'll take that and run with it.
Yeah, the echo chambers and everything will be like, oh no, this is the way we stand up for independence. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it isn't.
No.
It's like we're just all a bunch of idiots out here thinking that we can make something of the world by ourselves, and that's just not true. We need the leadership of good men. So
yes, we really do.
Raise kings, raise pharaohs, raise chiefs, raise leaders.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay.
Even take seriously in a conversation like this are the very traditionalist conservatives.
Oh, okay. I have.
At least then you have a case because you're being consistent, and you always say, yeah, I think men should be leaders in society. They should be leaders in the home. They should be leaders in relationships. And okay, but even in that case, you still cannot entirely absolve the woman. Like she has no free will, like she has no agency.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, now you are now you're drifting past just sort of a traditional notion of gender norms. You're drifting past that, and you're drifting into demonization of men and the total infantilization of women. You're treating women like infants or robots who have no free will and no ability to make any decisions for themselves.
Yes.
And you're treating men, you're unduly demonizing men in that case.
Oh, that's good.
If you are basically totally absolving the women, like you can't blame them at all. You cannot condemn their behavior at all, which is some of what I'm hearing. Because in reality, okay, Lily Phillips is an adult person making a choice. And yes, we should condemn her behavior. It's disgusting, terrible behavior.
Back in the day, we would have stoned her in the streets.
Yes, with Jesus and everything else, yes.
They would have stoned her in the streets and then ignored her. There was consequences for that.
Of course there are, yes.
And it's like, and then I remember that there would again be consequences for the men of her household, because they let her go and do that sort of thing. So
exactly.
It wasn't quite as harsh as being stoned in the street, but they would either turn their back on them for a while or refuse to give them any help them out with the food or going to church services or whatever. They were just kind of alienated for a while. Because it's like you should have fucking
Because then the guy would lose his wife/girlfriend, and he would have lost the support from the other fellow people.
Over the whole tribe, So
hopefully boosting him and making him a better person.
To do better, right? Exactly. So it's like we're talking about being like the captain and being the leader. It's like when these sorts of things happen to you and you're held to this extreme accountability, you end up doing better next time.
You really do.
And it makes you get on your people a little bit more and be like, you caused me a lot of problems, and this is why you can't do these things. This is why, it's like it's harmful for you. It's harmful for me. It's harmful.
Really
it's
is.
harmful for our tribe, and in this case, society. You know? So it's like both need to take accountability.
Yes, that's the most important thing.
She's an adult that's supposedly making her own decisions, but how did that come to be?
Exactly.
Who were the men in her life, and why weren't they strong enough to stop her from doing such a stupid thing?
Yeah.
And yes, it is also exploitation on her part, too. she is also exploiting these men in a very real sense. Just having them line up so that she can make this disgusting video. So my take on it is I condemn the behavior of everybody involved. Okay, that's my very simple way of looking at this. I condemn the behavior of everybody involved. Like, I don't think there are any victims here. Everybody is choosing to be a part of this. It's disgusting. And it's disgusting, evil behavior by everybody, and we should condemn it in no uncertain terms. It is shameful, gross, and we should just condemn the behavior of everybody involved.
Yes.
Nobody's being forced into it. Everybody does have free will. And that's it. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show...
Hold on.
You know, you can just skip it. If you go to the middle of it, it gives you a thing to, see right here.
No ads. You should go to dailywire.com and use promo.
The next one.
Wait. You did that too fast.
Okay, got it.
Is it muted though?
No. It's there. Yeah, I know. I did it. Wow. Special thanks. My lovely wife. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up tonight. Sancho, always good to see you. Hope that this was a pretty good one. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. So it was better. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. And we'll see you, I think. No, this one will be normal. So Wednesday we'll do this next one. But then the following, we're gonna be doing a New Year's one. So I don't know if we're gonna do Wednesdays still.
Well, it'll roll over into Wednesdays. So
yeah.
We'll probably do something like recapping some of the best woke stuff that we've encountered.
Yes, that sounds good.
And we'll start it,
before
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we'll roll over to Wednesday.
Damn it.
It'll just be super early.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go ahead and air it again later on.
Yeah, that way you all can be with us on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that'd be great. So tomorrow is Yule. Starts our 12 days of
yes,
Christmas.
It does.
So happy Yule, everybody, and also the return of the sun. The sun is coming back.
Whoop, whoop.
So we have 5 more weeks of super darkness, and then it'll start to be noticeably lighter. Super excited about that. So
I think we all are.
Yeah, some people like the dark and the cold.
But I mean, our family.
Yeah, our family, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we're sun worshippers, literally.
Yeah, we're summer worshippers for sure. Heat.
I'll be the healer of the team.
So yeah, that's it. And then, did we talk to them before Christmas?
On Wednesday.
What is Wednesday?
I think Wednesday is Christmas.
So let me take a look really quick. We'll go in. It is. So yeah, we'll see you on Christmas then.
Yeah, we'll do a really good Christmas one too.
Special Christmas edition Woke Wednesday.
And then we'll have a New Year's one.
Yeah.
So
neat.
that's kind of cool.
Right on, man.
Some good ones.
Thank you, Sancho, for stopping in.
Yes. Thank you, Sancho. Thank you, everybody else that watches, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you on Christmas. Now watch me for a minute as I end the stream.